Last week, there was an announcement that should accelerate the pace of longevity research, and if successful, will result in a therapy capable of 20 years of rejuvenation in seniors, of rolling back the clock by 2 decades. And it will happen within 7 years, by 2030. Man, the hits just keep coming, don't they? So last week, on Wednesday, December 6th, Dr. Peter Diamandis, founder of the XPRIZE Foundation, made an announcement at the Healthspan Global Summit in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, that the foundation was launching a new XPRIZE. Now, for those of you who don't know about the XPRIZE, they're a series of prizes that the XPRIZE Foundation has awarded for advances in technology. Dr. Diamandis has always believed that these type of prizes can have a dramatic impact on the advancement of science and technology. For example, when Charles Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic Ocean in 1919, he was competing for and won the $25,000 Orteig Prize. So, Peter created the XPRIZE. Now, there have been over 20 different XPRIZes, and they've awarded over $400 million in prizes, and they've had over 10,000 teams compete. The very first XPRIZE was the Ansari XPRIZE. Now, this was a $10 million prize for the first spaceship developed by private enterprise to carry 3 people 100 kilometers into space, and to do that twice within a 2-week period. The Ansari Prize was launched in 1996 and won by the Mojave Aerospace Ventures in 2004. And it's driven the exploration of space by private industry ever since. Now, Dr. Diamandis is a guy with a lot of interest. He's into space exploration. He's into climate change. He's into deep tech like quantum. He's into food production, the availability of clean water, and the disposal of waste. And he's long been into longevity and healthspan research. He publishes a newsletter called Longevity Insider. He and Tony Robbins co-authored a book titled Life Force, and they founded a company with the same name. And Peter just authored another book titled Longevity, Your Practical Playbook. So, as you might expect, this latest XPRIZE is all about longevity. It's called the Healthspan XPRIZE, and I believe it's going to have a huge impact on health spans and lifespans around the world. And it's the largest prize ever. Not just XPRIZE, but any prize ever awarded. The group that wins this prize will come home with $101 million. So here's what it is. The prize is expected to wrap up in about 2030. That's just 7 years from now. To put that in perspective, the Ansari Prize was won in 8 years. The fact that artificial intelligence is already here and quantum chemistry and computing are expected to come online in the second half of this decade, that means that incredible resources can be applied to this challenge. So here's the rules. First, whoever wins the prize will have to demonstrate a cost-effective therapy for restoring cognitive, muscular, and immune function by at least 10 years, with the goal being 20 years of restoration. They'll be measuring functional degradation at the beginning of the trial period, and by the end, they must restore that function, hopefully by 20 years. And they have to do it within a single year. Restoration of function must occur within 1 year of starting the therapy. This rejuvenation must happen with seniors, with people between the ages of 65 and 80 years old. Now, I'm 74 years old, so I'm smack dab in the middle of the demographic that they're looking for. The individual teams that are going to be participating in this challenge are responsible for enrolling their own cohorts. And these cohorts must be seniors who are in good health with, at most, only a mild onset of age-related chronic disease. So, within a year or less, cohorts of elderly people aged 65 to 80 must demonstrate a rejuvenation by at least 10 years, and hopefully 20 years of cognitive, muscular, and immune function to win. And they hope to accomplish this within 7 years, by 2030. Now, this should be really exciting. So how are they going to accomplish this? Well, there's no guidelines for that. It's wide open. They can try anything they want to try, anything that they think will work. Now, Peter did mention that he doesn't think that something like meditation will win the prize, but they're not eliminating that. Now, Dr. Jamie Justice, the executive director of the Healthspan XPRIZE, mentioned several therapies that she thought might be successful. It could be a new drug, or a repurposed drug, or a combination of the two. It could be a biologic. It could be a gene therapy or a cell therapy. It could be a vaccination. It could be a device. It could be a supplement. It could even be a nutritional approach, like a fasting mimicking diet. Or it could be a combination of any of the above. This XPRIZE has taken 7 years to put together, most of that time spent in getting the funding. Now, they've just made the announcement and revealed the guidelines. For the next 6 months, they'll be collecting feedback from all over the world, from teams likely to participate, but really from just about anyone. Feedback on whether or not they agree with the guidelines, how they're measuring the degradation of function, on how they're determining restoration of function, and really any other ideas that they might have. They'll process all of that feedback and then publish a final set of rules. And I'm guessing that's when things will really kick off. Now, with regards to the timeline, obviously, they don't know how long this is going to take or how it will progress. They're hoping that this will wrap up by 2030. Peter said that within about 2 years, based on how previous XPRIZEs have gone, he'll have a pretty good idea of the scope of teams that will be registered to participate. And he figures that within 4 to 5 years, he'll know who the top candidates are. At the launch in Riyadh, they already announced who some of the competitors are. People and their teams like George Church, the professor at Harvard and MIT and founder of 14 biotech companies, Dr. Andrea Meyer of the University of Singapore, Dr. Laura Niedernhofer, the director of the Institute on the Biology of Aging and Metabolism at the University of Minnesota, and Dr. Eric Verdin, who's the CEO of the Buck Institute for Research in Aging. Phil Newman, editor-in-chief at Longevity Technology, was at Riyadh, and he interviewed Peter Diamandis, and one of the things they talked about was the legacy of the Healthspan XPRIZE. Peter said that he saw several areas that he felt could be impacted. First, they're trying to raise global awareness of the revolution in Healthspan, and that they're trying to get people to take better care of themselves so that they might be in a position to intercept some of these breakthroughs that are in the pipeline. Like he said, you don't want to be the last person to die before a revolutionary longevity protocol goes online. They're also trying to bring about changes in the regulatory process, how these agencies run drug trials, how they view aging in general. They're also hopeful that this will bring additional capital to the marketplace. Research takes funding, and in biotech, the amount of capital that's available is directly correlated to success. And longevity and healthspan research has long been underfunded, in my opinion. The launch of the Healthspan XPRIZE is already having an impact. I've seen YouTube videos, blog posts, podcasts, and news reports about it. In the past, the various challenges that the XPRIZE Foundation has launched have revolutionized research and advanced technology in a variety of unrelated fields, from space to transportation to climate change. Now, they'll hopefully bring that same gift to the field of longevity research. I'm expecting big things from this challenge. Okay, that wraps up another video. I'll catch you next time. I'm out of here.